as their bans are already done here in game number 2, as they ban away Gragas, Corki, and LeBlanc. Not willing to let Pobelter have that one. Caitlyn, Elise, and Zac banned away by Immortals.
Yeah, and there has to be something here that they saw, because if you don't ban LeBlanc, then Immortals have to ban LeBlanc or Caitlyn, and then you get the other one. Or you trade 1 for 1, and it seems like they didn't want to do that, and they just go for the Kalista here, which Mash played it last game, had an okay showing on it. I would actually say it was probably one of the better showings on Echo Fox in that game, and now Keith will have it in this one.
Yep, Keith going to be piloting that as Immortals see the enemy pick one of their bottom laners and say, you know what, we'll go ahead and pick both of those. Grabbing the Twitch for Cody Sun, getting the Thresh there for Olleh, that playmaker. You talked about this guy wanting to be the dude who makes the flash, makes the play, shows what he can do with those mechanics, and this is the chance to do it.
Yeah, if Cody Sun, you know, even in their losses in week 5 where they went 0-2 on Immortals, he had really great scorelines and was still rather consistent. So Cody Sun has been kind of a poster child of consistency, but not just consistency, because I feel like that becomes a kind of a bad word for AD carries. Oh, they're consistent. Oh, you know, they're solid, right? Like they aren't carries. But Cody Sun was having some carry performances. It was just, there was a lot of weight on his team during those games in terms of there was pressure mid, there's pressure jungle, and he couldn't really get freed up or have a front line. We'll see what happens here, because it looks like, once again, neglecting a front line here in the jungle, though, for Xmithie. On the Nidalee, a little bit of a difference here, because we normally see him on things like the Gragas, the Rek'Sai with tank. Now, this seems like a takeaway here from Grig as well. Yeah,
Xmithie putting on his Mike Young cosplay, going to show us what he can do with Nidalee there in the jungle, as Rumble is locked in on the side of Echo Fox, so both bot lanes secured. You're not going to see any AD carrier support bans going into this second round of the banning phase. Kha'Zix and Galio will be taken off the table, though. A little bit of a different focus between the two teams. As is to be expected, though, you don't have perfectly paralleled picks in that first stage, unless it is Jungle Rumble, which is highly unlikely, but you never know.
Yeah, you never know. The Galio ban away comment, I wonder if there will be a Renekton here as well to take away from him.
Lee Sin is banned away by Immortals, deciding to focus both of those second phase bans onto Grig, removing some champions from his pool.
Yeah, making sure that there's 5 taken away so far. Rek'Sai still kind of on the table, though, for him. I'm expecting a Renekton ban if they're kind of targeting that top side, but the Jax.
Ooh, okay. A little bit surprising to see that one come through, honestly.
Well, I feel like maybe he doesn't have anything that Looper would be comfortable playing into it, but it's Looper. I feel like Looper has something for everything, right? The Pantheon for the Kennen. He's played a Kali. And okay, so he might even be able to play Renekton himself here. I'm sorry, he's got the Rumble, sorry. So, don't know why I was going off on that tangent.
The last thing we mentioned about Rumble was Jungle Rumble.
Yeah, so it was in my head.
You're good.
I played with a Rumble jungle recently, so it was in my head and it got locked in. Anyway, yeah, the Kled up against the Rumble. Actually, pretty good matchup for the Kled. Rumble doesn't do enough burst damage and can like save up to dismount him and then kill him. So you kind of have to just dismount him, wait a long time, and then the trading pattern of the Kled usually will get him back on top of his mount on Skarl quick enough. So I do like that matchup. It's one of the ones that when Kled first came out, it was a favorable matchup, especially if you get like a Hex Drinker, but I feel like you just go HP, you stack for Gargoyle Stoneplate, and then you're good to go.
Rek'Sai is picked up for Echo Fox. Syndra, the final lock-in for these guys. Damonte will be piloting that terror of mid lane this time around. You can see the 56% win rate across the North American LCS this summer. Champ is very, very powerful. Everybody likes to make jokes about press R to win, but when you get ahead, that's practically what she does. Pobelter deciding he'll take Taliyah into that matchup.
Yeah, Immortals, a lot of engage here from having the pick potential of Olleh, as well as Cody Sun can go ahead and stealth and affect mid lane. And this is one of the things as a mid laner is playing against Twitch isn't just bad for like late game in terms of playing against it, but like Twitch shows up mid. Twitch is like the AD carry you play when you want to gank mid lane and do it very early on. So I'm expecting to see something from Cody Sun where he's trying to make Damonte have a bad day overall. But Damonte has this Syndra, which is a great pick in pretty much the whole meta this year so far in terms of what you can play mid lane.
And I want to keep an eye on Damonte's performance, especially early on this game, before anything really happens to him. Because we talked about him being a rookie.
Before anything happens to him.
Before anything happens, good or bad.
Okay.
I want to keep an eye on him because we talked about him being a rookie. We talked about last game Immortals potentially exploiting the fact that his nerves could get to him, exploiting the fact that he's inexperienced. I want to see now if he's got the mental fortitude to come back from a tough loss and a poor personal performance like in game number 1 and stay strong and stay consistent, for as much as we use that word, here in game number 2. because that can be a big thing. For some of these newer players, they have a bad game, and then it just sort of falls off the edge of the cliff going into the next games, and everything goes from bad to worse. I want to see if Damonte can step up and still have that strong performance. Game 1 didn't happen. Here we are, totally different game.
We talk about synergies on teams. As a whole, we talk about a gigantic, the team gels. But right now, what Echo Fox have done with their swaps, and I kind of had an aha moment just a few minutes ago where I was just being very speculative and
epiphany.
Criticizing. Thank you.
Yeah. Fancy words.
You've kind of reunited not a team synergy, but some duo synergy. Keith is back with Gate, so you have the kind of the normal bottom lane. But Damonte is now with Grig, and he has the jungle mid synergy that he normally plays with when they're doing sub-squad stuff. So that may help him out because Acadian may not have been able to understand the resources. Look at this, though. The level 1!
Olleh ends up face checking about 5 people.
Hasn't flashed.
Away, more damage coming through. Flash forced out. More damage coming out from threaded volleys. Gate gets taken low and spins his Ignite. Olleh gets taken low, spins his Flash. And Cody's heal is down as well. So it's 2 summoner spells for 1. Fox gets the better of that.
Yeah, and now what Xmithie is doing is making them walk all the way back. If he can interrupt another back, it may help in terms of minion timing. So he's going to do it. He's going to throw it.
And he got him. Right in the back.
Minions have spawned.
Very unfortunate, too, because there's no way you can start your jungle with 100 HP.
Yeah, and he's going to back, and 1 minute and 20 seconds is usually the time that I'm like, if you back at 1 minute and 20 seconds and it completes then you'll be good to come back to your jungle and have full HP. But Grig is now going to have to wait. His camps will spawn, and then he's going to be late. So if they leash it for him, which is fully warded, and they don't have complete vision of the area, but they did see Immortals leave. So Echo Fox are going to start it up for him. And Grig won't be that far behind, but it is in Italy, so might be able to kind of outpace him here.
And this way to him on a silver platter there. Just a little bit of work to finish it off. Of course, Keith's a bit worse for wear. He had to tank 3 or 4 auto attacks from the thing.
Yeah, the question is, do they miss anything bottom lane?
Nope, they get there just in time.
Feel like Keith might have actually...
Did Keith miss out a little bit?
No,
nope, they're dead even.
Nope, they're dead even.
They just barely managed to get in the range in time.
Keith
and Cody Sun, though, they're deciding it's time to fight. Cody Sun going to be knocked up. Keith takes a lot of damage very rapidly, though. Remember that Echo Fox has heal. Immortals does not. Immortals with an exhaust that they can use, though.
Yeah, Keith will get back to about half HP. Cody Sun does better for himself. Level 2 comes out first.
Immediately mirrored by Immortals.
Yeah. So I love that about Rakan is the Q, Feathered Quill for the heal. I mean, not because it's like a strong ability or anything like that. I just like the fact that, or the Gleaming Quill. I like the fact that it's so great in terms of feel of a thematic, right? He's like a guy that wants to deliver things to you. He's like, oh, I got this for you. You run up in front of your AD carry, you're like, oh, I hit him with the Q. And then you bring back the heal, you're like, I got this for you. Like, take
my
this.
present.
And I love when the character feels that way, because it just fits in so well. It's just like Yasuo, right? Yasuo is a wanderer, and he builds up his passive by running around. So you constantly have to move, and you feel like you can't stay in one place for too long. And I love those things. Super deep, man.
Or like Skarner, who does his Q where he moves his claws around, and real Scorpions do that too. So you're really role-playing
and then
Scorpions.
Gather the crystals, miss your kind.
Yeah, exactly. Flame gets dismounted in the top side, just barely going to lose out Skarl for that damage over time.
He's trying to push this wave, so, don't know if he saw him there or not. Wasn't pinged out, though. But yeah.
Nope.
So.
Xmithie heads out. Well.
Yeah, Flame in actually a very unsafe situation right now, but Pobelter. He'll report that Grig is on the bottom side of the map just by seeing the Scryer's Bloom fly past him.
Scryer's Bloom is a very interesting plant, because you think about how it gives vision to the person using it, because obviously that's literally what the description of the plant is, but it also gives inferred information to the team that it's used against, because you know someone is there.
Exactly, and during the early game, you know it's the jungler. Later on, it's like, is it the support? Is it the jungler? But yes, it can give away your information, can give away the location. It's just like picking up a Skarner crystal.
Yeah.
Somebody took that thing.
Somebody's on top of that thing somehow.
Speaking of somebody on top of something, Grig gonna go in for Olleh.
Wants to get on top of him if he can. Goes for the flash for the knockup. Olleh gonna be burnt down pretty rapidly here. Flash is available, but not gonna be using it. Keith grabs first.
His flash wasn't available. He used it level 1, remember?
Oh, the
just
icon
barely.
just barely didn't come up. That's right. I thought it looked like it was up, but it was not.
I had to do a double take on it as well because it's so close. But that is really good timing there from Grig to go for that so aggressively because he burned his flash, and then Gate didn't really layer the CC as well with his W. But because Olleh didn't have the flash there, we'll see if he can strike back. But the question is, can he actually get anything out of that? Because there wasn't a laner flash used there. It was just the jungler. So Olleh can't do something like a flash lay and know that like Gate Keith doesn't have a flash. This is just so well played.
Yeah, how Grig pulled it off. He just went in and kaboom.
It's very close. It's about, I would say, 10 seconds off from his flash being back up. It comes up as he's dead, and then they just make sure that they get him there with the Rend, and that kill, the first blood, goes over to Keith.
Which is exactly who you want to put the money on. Get that on the AD carry. Get him snowballing. Get him rolling. Especially Kalista with this Rakan, this combo that you talked about being powerful in the other regions.
Yeah. So it's kind of like the Xayah and Rakan combo is a little bit like, oh, it's hard to get onto the Xayah. You know, she can just ulti away, and then it makes it so Rakan can go in from a decent amount of distance, but only if Xayah is kind of the middle point. But with Kalista, it's even further engage range forward without the Kalista having to put herself too much at risk. So you can reach the backline very quickly, and we'll see what happens here. Keith?
Uh-oh. Far forward.
He feels good about his chances here, though.
Well, takes a little bit of damage from Cody. Contaminate comes through to make sure that he takes a little bit more, as now him and Gate can move themselves up through this river, see if maybe they can find some opportunity elsewhere. Pobelter throwing down a control ward, moving himself back into that brush. Yeah. Level 6, he does have the wall.
Strange. Xmithie is there too. Oh, gonna spot him.
Nope, no spear. Xmithie not really finding anything just yet on this Nidalee. Nidalee is one of those champs that you expect to see some action out of early on, but Xmithie hasn't found that just yet.
Looking over at Grig in terms of his jungling. Oh, Damonte. He's trying to interrupt the blue, trying to get something back, but he's going to find the control ward instead as he walks through the brush. But yes, Grig actually maxing E, so not doing what Xmithie was doing, but he's still going tank, so he's not going for all of that extra bonus true damage off of having the extra AD. It's more so he wants that lower tunnel cooldown so he can go in and then get out in 2 seconds.
Pick up his red buff for himself. And what Damonte was doing, I really like seeing mid laners or junglers or anybody try to threaten the blue like that, because even if you don't steal it, sometimes you force the enemy jungler to smite it instead, so you keep it off the mid lane.
See, that's what I do. Is I like it when the enemy mid laner tries to come for the blue, because then I can
you
smite
get an
the blue.
excuse.
I'm like, oh, smited the blue, you know.
Be like, sorry, I thought he would steal it.
I mean, would you rather have a 33% chance that they get it, or would you rather have a 100% chance that we get it and it's on me? I'm no mathematician, but I like the one that favors us a lot more.
Right now, top lane's favoring Immortals to go in deep here onto Looper. Equalizer comes down to prevent any sort of dive.
He can turn.
Shenanigans coming out.
He can turn.
Looper decides to turn this one around, though. Overheated Flame Spitter puts quite a lot of damage
Remember,
into Flame.
Skarl's super slow. Damonte popped Ghost, and he's trying to get there so he can finish off Flame.
Damonte trying to get in range to make this stun. He doesn't even need the stun. Press R to win. Deleting that enemy top laner. Echo Fox 2-0.
And the Syndra pick is definitely helping him out. I'm surprised that it made it to that second phase, but it looked like Immortals were putting more stress on banning out the jungler Grig instead of Damonte there. They left the Syndra up. It got picked by Damonte, and he's up in CS and also roaming pressure so far.
Echo Fox's bottom lane doing plenty well for themselves too. Enjoying the advantages they've built up there, but one more time, the engage from Immortals up here.
Yeah, big credit to Looper here. Rumble, I mean, how many times have we seen Rumble 2v1 underneath turret, the flash away, then he puts his equalizer in a way against the wall where you can't continue forward. You have to retreat unless you're going to take a boatload of damage there. So that was really well placed by him. He was right on top of Flame and was diagonal towards his turret. And then Damonte came up and got the credit there.
I like how Damonte decided, even though he could have just gone flash R, he was flash W first, just to bait the enemy flash away, and he's like, psych, you don't need it anyway, just press R.
Yeah, interesting part there is, they may have been able to actually kill Xmithie afterwards if in a perfect world.
In a perfect world,
I don't,
right.
I don't like talking about those situations too much, but it's just like if he hadn't used W, if he had just like repositioned, stunned because it landed and stuff.
Right, there's all sorts of hypotheticals you can go into, but at the end of the day, he
Looper
does walk away with one more kill under his
Looper saw it. Looper was like, let me just throw a spear at this guy, harpoon. Where's the follow-up?
First Drake is Infernal this game too, by the way. So expect to see these teams potentially fighting for this very soon. There's a lot of games, Zirene, where we see Infernal Drakes go earlier than 10 minutes.
Yeah, and you could see the entire team of Echo Fox are trying to play around that. Keith, clearing out the minion wave and trying to shove, even though Gate isn't with him, so he's kind of 2v1ing and trying to get pressure. Gate was just making sure he has wards all through that bottom side of the jungle, setting up for the Infernal Drake, and Grig was getting the Scuttle Crab as Damonte has mid priority. So, like I said, winning the mid lane helps you win this part of the map very heavily.
Echo Fox decides that winning mid lane is their ticket to grabbing Infernal Drake #1, and it doesn't look like Immortals is going to have anything to say about it.
Yeah, top side of the map though, see what happens here, see if Grig is paying attention or not, because Xmithie just cleared out 2 of his tunnels on the top side. It doesn't look like they're paying attention.
Well, Looper outplayed this the last time.
Oh, there you go.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he saw that Taliyah was roaming up, so he's like, I'm going to get walled in, I'm going to die. They know he doesn't have flash, but look at this, 2-man bot.
There we go. Looking to make that happen if they can. Cody Sun taking low, almost going to be taken down. The shield nearly saves him, but not today. Olleh now going to try to kite these guys around and make the outplay underneath the turret. Grig walking away. Flay doesn't find him. Could have potentially found a kill with the help of the tower aggro there.
Now they got to get the turret because Looper ended up dying on the top side, and they could potentially lose that after the wave gets shoved by Xmithie. So they had to pick this up.
Olleh's going to try to hang around and just provide any help that he can, but quickly realizes that it's not really something he can protect. He has to just get back.
Yeah, and remember I talked about trades in the first game? First turret goes over to Echo Fox. They got the Infernal Drake, and they get damage on mid lane as well as a CS advantage on Damonte as well. And that is just big for them. So you trade back turrets, but one of them has more gold on it because it's first. But still, large advantage there for Echo Fox off of the small bits of the trade.
And these are the kind of Echo Fox early game leads that we're used to seeing. This is the Echo Fox that shows up a lot.
Yeah, on the top side of the map, there's no flash on Looper. Flame, woo! It's the zoning ult. See ya, boys! He got an assist for that, too.
I don't know why that was so funny, but just Kled passed through. And the bottom lane.
Yeah, the exhaust almost made it so that Cody Sun made it out alive, but ends up getting him with the spear there. Keith able to come up with another. But Keith 2-0 right now. Doing quite well in this game.
Yeah, they're focusing on Keith. They're enabling Keith.
Yeah. Oh, Damonte also has that matchup in mid where he's actually got a really good matchup for himself, and he's able to roam and have pressure. There hasn't been much attention mid except for wards on either side. And you can see, remember, all of that bottom side was completely warded up from Echo Fox. They had it all inside the blue buff, etc. Now, it's all the top side. They've completely swapped where their ward lines are, because now they're going to play the top side Rift Herald and the top turret instead of playing that bottom side. Work's done there. They got the Infernal, they got the turret. They're trying to keep that tempo up, and they might just get themselves a turret advantage here, and Echo Fox playing the map.
That's what we want to see from these guys. That's where things seem to fall apart for them. It's where they fell apart last game, but this game is a different story altogether. Turret #2 will drop on the side of Immortals. Echo Fox will pocket more global gold. And they go up to a little bit over 1,500 gold lead. By the way, Zirene, Infernal Drake #2.
Well,
might snowball
this right here, though, they're trying to cut them off. Wall not quite
the
long
wall
enough.
doesn't go far enough.
But Damonte's not answering.
Just a little bit short. Keith's going to be taken low, eating some damage right now, but the damage comes in onto Pobelter. May just be able to turn this one around. Keith almost dead, but Flame's not quite able to find it just yet. The damage from the pocket pistol. Damonte trying to finish these guys off. Olleh falls first. Flame's going to be so dangerously low. 2 dead for Echo Fox, 1 for Immortals. The health on Flame there had to be single digits.
It was super low, but he ends up going for somebody else there, picks up Olleh. 2 for 1 in favor of Immortals, but the bottom lane gets shoved in, the mid lane gets shoved in, and that was kind of exactly what Immortals were trying to get there. It was interesting because Flame didn't have his ultimate for a little bit longer. You really would have wanted the ultimate up to try and make that engage perfect, but they almost get away, and that was seriously well played from both teams as everybody was trying to escape. Like, there was a knock up there from Grig that delayed the death of his teammate there and almost made it so that he got out.
Pobelter still with 100% kill participation too, by the way.
Well, not quite long enough to completely cut them off, and then this almost bites them as, nope. Gate gets thrown in, charms, knocks up, Pobelter almost drops there, and then Grig staying burrowed, and then knocks up right there on Flame, and then the pocket pistol for the finish off. And right there, whoa, so close, believe this?
Whoa, okay. Come back from the replay, and Pobelter's not even part of the picture anymore. Lots of damage on this Echo Fox squad when you think about a fed Kalista, when you think about a fed Syndra. If you're out of position even a little bit, these guys can punish.
Yeah, oh yeah. There's so much in terms of engage tools here. Even without the ultimates up, you're looking at the fact that this is a Fate's Call. Oh, Looper though has to Flame, you know.
All right. Flame doesn't quite make it there with the ulti, but he's still got the
wait for Damonte, he might turn here. Doesn't sphere.
Damonte just trying to buy some time. Flash into play, and Looper is out of there. Flame crafting kill.
Yeah, Damonte was there, but they ended up just going for the Rift Herald, knowing that they had numbers disadvantage on the bottom side. They're going to use Rift Herald top. Pobelter's the one to defend. This is a big minion wave here as well. Echo Fox might have struck gold here with this rotation. Oh! Wait, it's going to go over?
Can he go over? Oh, he does! Rift Herald ignores terrain. Today I learned.
It dashes over it, but that's great from Pobelter. That's pretty much the only way they would have stopped that turret from going down.
And that Weaver's take wall. Substantial damage.
Yes, it'll take substantial damage. Try to rotate mid, pick up a decent amount of what's on the way in terms of vision. And look for that turret, but they lose their bottom turret, so Immortals now back to even in gold here.
And actually up in turrets. They're the ones who have 3 under their belts.
They've been able to kind of pressure Looper in the side lane multiple times here.
This is tale as old as time for Echo Fox.
I don't know if you can back now. Infernal Drake's coming up in 2 seconds.
2 seconds?
Is Flame going to TP in because they want it that badly? Okay, so Flame backed as well. And now they just allowed back timers to come through for people to buy some key items. Flame will go top, and he'll just split push and then TP in if they need it. But it seems like Immortals are actually being a little hesitant on the pickup here. They've had a window where they could actually get it, but they didn't fully realize it there. So Damonte ended up getting a good back timer in a position where it could have been punished.
Echo Fox decides to pull the trigger. Now, will Immortals go to collapse? The gold is very, very close, Zirene. Either side could win a fight here, depending on how it plays out. Flame finds himself alone behind enemy lines. He's got to be so careful. Olleh will save him with the lantern. And Immortals will buy themselves some time as Pobelter eats the ultimate from Damonte. Echo Fox still zoned away for now, but Immortals losing a lot of health on their solo laners.
They can see the backs.
Have to be careful too.
Yeah, they can see the backs there in that bush. Flame already teleported, and that's what they collapsed on. So if Flame goes top here.
Oh, the stun doesn't connect. Pobelter seeing the chance to turn this one around. Flash away from Damonte to keep himself alive, and that also baits the TP out from Looper.
Yes, as soon as you missed that from Damonte, he was trying to go for something cheeky there on Pobelter. Pobelter just has so much movement speed at that point where he gets it from just being on the worked ground as well as the passive, so he'd be able to run you down. And now, did they start it up? No.
Alright, Infernal Drake started up. Xmithie trying to solo this one down on his own. Damage to it, honestly.
I feel like Grig wants to go in to check.
Grig's thinking about it.
What can you see?
Tremor Sense showing him a couple of things here. Echo Fox in position. Grig is tanking the Drake for now, though. Remember that Infernal Drake damage can add up over time if he gets to sit there and spit 5 or 6 auto attacks into your team.
Yeah, they haven't managed their top wave either, so it's becoming an iffy situation for Echo Fox. It's been a good 30-plus seconds that they've been looking to recall on the backside of that bush.
Immortals will not give this Drake up. They know their opponents took the first one. They want to get the second one to keep this a level.
Oh, looking for the engage.
Now the charm into the engage. Knock up. Cody Sun getting himself back. Spray and pray needs to be opened up soon. The equalizer comes down. Gate the first casualty. Flame dismounts as the stun comes in, preventing the combo from Damonte. And Immortals will find themselves 1-0.
Gate goes down so fast there. Keith didn't have Fate's Call for another 5 seconds. It was just barely. And then Looper's ultimate, not in the right spot there. didn't really get to predict exactly where they're going, so Immortals pick up the Drake.
A dance around Drake for a multiple minute time span ultimately results in an Immortals victory that now finds them 1,000 gold ahead of their opponents. The kills are all tied up. The Drakes are all tied up. It's 3-2 in turrets for Immortals. And this is exactly the same old song for Echo Fox, Zirene. Mid-game comes around and things don't go their way.
There's Twitch right there. They think they can get him. They do a lot of damage. Flashes away, and then the re-engage, but that equalizer is just a little bit off in terms of if it's just up to the left, then it's a much better equalizer that prevents them from retreating into the bush.
Right, you've got to put it in that corridor. Rumble Equalizer is so very effective at fighting in those narrow jungle corridors.
It's what they've been looking for. Like, the fact that Looper's been navigating that whole fight this entire time, I was waiting for that equalizer to come down, whether it was, maybe Xmithie starts up the Drake and you throw it on top of him. I was waiting for that moment, but it just never really arrived, and then it showed itself there, but it just wasn't in the right position.
Rod of Ages completed on Xmithie's Nidalee, going for a tankier approach to this champion. Sometimes you see more squishy items coming out, stuff like a Lich Bane, etc., but he wants to have a bigger health pool.
I mean, the last thing that Xmithie did before the week break was play against Mike Young on Nidalee, where he stopped the Baron, 1v4'd, like, did work. So, looks like he's saying, that's a pretty good champion.
Hey. We've all played a game in our lives sometime before, Zirene, where you lose to somebody going off completely ham on a champion, and very next game you say, you know what? I could do that. I'm going to play that champ.
I had that moment today after a Graves with Duskblade just destroyed a game. There was a Heimerdinger in our game. He literally two-shot it and did it multiple times. I was like, I'll do that. And then after the game, I was like, I don't play Graves, though. Very well at all, so why? I
don't know what's more surprising between a legit two-shot or somebody picking Heimer in a ranked game.
I mean, people are saying it's all right.
It's all right. Well, maybe. We've seen stranger things.
Pobelter a decent amount of Heimers lately.
Clears away the waves mid, 215 CS to 216 CS. These two have just been going blow for blow on farm the entire time. Flash away. Looper has to use it to keep himself safe as the Weaver's wall comes in. Pobelter always on the lookout for those opportunities to catch somebody out of position.
Yeah, playing for summoner spells is kind of a thing that instead of playing for kills, you use it now, and then next time you do it again, and you'll try to get the kill as a result on the second time that you do it. It's just like using a Jarvan Cataclysm. They flash out of the first one, great. Successful gank, successful setup there. This top turret, though, unanswered here. Looking for Damonte to come up and clear this wave, but...
And look at the way the game's changed. Ever since 15 minutes, ever since we first started to crest into the mid-game, it's slowly but surely turned away from Fox and towards Immortals. It's the same old song. Immortals knows how to play the mid-game. They know how to play the late game. And Echo Fox's success always seems to end early.
Yeah, and you can't just kind of get frustrated and say, let's just force this thing. Because you're going to lose side lanes. Like right now, Twitch can flank. They're getting flanked on now. TP being used. Fate's Call comes out. Keith finding himself in the middle of everything. Stunned up, brought down. Xmithie responsible for the kill as Immortals looks to chase even further. Grig dashing himself right into the spear. Going to be taking even more damage with the bear trap on a rope. And a double kill for Immortals jungle. That was a classic case of let's do something from Echo Fox. They ran down mid, they had wards placed behind them, and they got TP'd on, and they got collapsed on as well. The Twitch even had an avenue into that fight, and you can't let your opponents have that, whereas Immortals see it, they frustrate their opponents, and they pounce. And now the Baron is the call. 23 minutes into the game, Immortals decide to set this one up. Flame hanging out behind it, taking all the damage from those spikes. The equalizer comes through. Damonte over the wall, wants to find someone. Lot of damage out very quickly. They got two. They got two. Onto Olleh. They're looking to turn this around, but Baron is secured. Cody Sun putting the bullets into his opponents. Manages to take out Flame. Olleh dies as well. Now Looper side of Echo Fox, but they lose Looper. Oh, hold on though. Gate on the other side here.
Gate. Oop. Nice stun. Pobelter almost turning that one around.
Yeah, nice stun there from Damonte. Played the backside of that fight quite well. And then Gate with the route that threw Pobelter off there, and then everybody kind of just separated, so allowed that pick to happen. But the Baron does go over to Immortals. They get two. That equalizer, you want it to time out before you really do more damage here so it doesn't get stolen. But then they wait for it. Oh, they get it. just barely there from Xmithie. But Looper looked like he was going to get in that pocket in the back left of the fight and really just toast everybody there, but doesn't really have that much damage behind him at this point in the game.
Decent job done by Fox preventing that Baron from being an absolute disaster. But speaking of disasters, Twitch with Blade of the Ruined King and Runan's Hurricane starting to arrive at that point where if he gets free firing time in a team fight, everybody's health bar is just going to disappear all of a sudden. He doesn't have the crit yet.
Yeah.
So it's not a super big deal because he doesn't have an Infinity Edge.
Yeah.
But he does have some crit with the Runan's Hurricane, and he does have the Blade of the Ruined King. Very concerning. They got to make sure they always keep track of where Cody is if Echo Fox wants to win a team fight.
And it's so difficult to do as well. But you do have the Rek'Sai, which will help out in that case to kind of scout out wherever the Twitch is he's trying to flank. Sometimes it's too late, but we'll see what happens here. Immortals have that Baron buff on 2 members. And Drake is coming up now. And it's only a 2,700 gold difference right now.
Still favoring Immortals, though. The team that was behind so much earlier.
Well, let's talk about Damonte. 5-0-1 right now. High kill station. They're looking for a fight.
Xmithie going to be saved by Olleh, who now decides to make the counterattack. Into the fight goes Flame, trying to get onto those back lines. Grig dead first. The health bars are just being deleted. Pobelter able to take down one. Damonte barely limping away from this fight. He's trying to kite. Dismount Flame, looking for more damage, but cannot find it. The pocket pistol for the second time this game.
Oh, and that looked like Keith was getting close. It was like, is it going to happen? Is he going to be able to clean this up? Is he going to be able to just skip away? But not quite there. And Immortals win another fight, going 3 for 1.
Now Echo Fox will lose their bottom lane tier 2. The Baron up. Remaining members of Immortals will make short work of that one. Damonte's still alive, but won't be around in time to do any sort of a reasonable answer. 5-0-2, but his whole team is still down way too much. And they're getting caught out in spots that don't work for their fights.
And these team fights are just so interesting because there isn't really a frontliner on either team. You kind of have maybe Thresh, right? You kind of have the diver of the Kled who wants to go straight in. So you aren't having like tank lines fight each other at all or trying to get through a tank line. It's like everybody's just throwing their back lines towards each other's back line, but not with assassins. You're just like, why is this Kled got backline access? And then why is this Taliyah flanking? Right? Everybody's kind of all over the place here, and the scattered fight makes it so that Looper can't really get in. He's looking for something off on the left side, so this Weaver's Wall pays even more dividends because it's a later equalizer than you would want, and you may have been able to save Grig from going down there, whereas Gate had the initial Fate's Call, didn't hit Xmithie, but then the follow-up from there wasn't really perfect either. So Immortals have just been kind of getting away with these fights here, and I think Xmithie has been a big part of these two. Like, Xmithie and Pobelter, once again, we talked about how they look like they were a little bit outclassed against TSM and P1, but this is a different story.
And Olleh has been having some good saves as well. Throwing out the dark passages at the right times to make sure that nobody gets caught out with serious consequences on his side. We talked about his ability as an offensive playmaker, wanting to go for those flashy mechanics, those big plays in the catches. At the same time, the man's respectable on defense as well.
Yeah, Olleh has definitely been playing like a beast. Pretty much all split long that people are saying #1 support right now in terms of overall. But talking about Gate here, he did have a really good week 5 himself. And this just looks like playmaking build over and over again for him because he has the Righteous Glory to get in there. He has the Ionian Boots of Lucidity as well, which will decrease the cooldown of his flash. So Gate is just trying to have very frequent plays where he can jump in and try to catch Cody Sun. And one of the things about Twitch is you're always like, okay, can we reach the Twitch? That's step 1 before you even get to do damage to him most of the time because his range is so long when he has the spray and pray on. But they've gotten to the point where, all right, step 1 is complete. Gate can get to him pretty much every single fight. But can you kill him? Do you have the backline damage at this point? And Damonte should at this point in the game with his 3 items.
Immortals taking this one nice and slow. Don't want to overextend themselves. They know they're ahead, but they're not so far ahead they can afford to just ram their faces into some inhibitor turrets. Baron will be live in under 2 minutes, so it's never too early to start that setup, start controlling vision, and be ready to take that one, especially with your opponents having to answer the bottom lane.
Yeah, Gate looking for that long-range pick.
And with Righteous Glory, you can actually go so fast for that initiation. Gate has some serious surprise factor with just how quickly he'll be in the middle of the entire team.
So a lot of the power budget of Rakan is the fact that, you know, his laning phase isn't that great, but he can go ahead and have incredibly long engages, long-range engages, and very flashy too.
Echo Fox will lose their 5th turret now. Immortals continuing to control the objective pace of the game. They only have 1 turret left to take down outside Echo Fox territory, though. We know how difficult it often is for teams to break that inhibitor turret line without Baron buff. So expect Immortals to focus on this Baron when it spawns here in about 1 minute, because that's their ticket to really seriously trying to end this game.
And they have a lot of wave clear on the team of Echo Fox. Looper can throw down his ultimate if he needs to in a desperate attempt, whereas Damonte, the Fed member, can just throw out Qs constantly and get those spheres on the ground.
Speaking of how fed people are, Flame has hit that point that we talked about last game, where you've got the 2 health items, you've got the Gargoyle Stone Plate. When he goes into the middle of these fights now using the charge, he's going to be really difficult to actually get rid of. To put him in the dirt and make sure that he's not going to be a threat after that fades away. Echo Fox has tools. They have damage. You've got a Death Cap and a Void Staff on your Syndra, but can you afford to try to have to use those on a Kled? And I don't believe the answer is yes.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But at the same time, you got to get rid of them.
Yes. Looking at some of the builds here, like getting a little bit distracted by that, because Cody Sun, he said, no crit. Still, Hex Drinker, Phantom Dancer, indexing very heavily on staying safe, because like I said, step 1 will happen, right? You will reach him with Gate, right? It's can he stay alive? Do you have enough damage? So he's trying to kind of negate that and make sure that he can stay alive as a kind of preventing a loss condition from Immortals. But I also like that he's been split pushing a ton, and they've been playing 1-3-1 with Pobelter wave clearing mid, Flame clearing bot in his winning matchup, and then Cody Sun was top. So you can see he's 2 levels up over Keith, who's been part of his 3-man unit, whereas solo experience can go into Cody Sun, and he's also been able to just constantly be in a position of pressure, because once Twitch shoves out a side lane, you can constantly collapse and just stealth around. And right now, the control mid, they'll have to see here, no blue trinkets available. Xmithie's not tanky though, they're gonna have to walk up here. This is when they'll give it away, but it's half HP already, and it's walled off.
The wall should
it's
do
dead.
the trick. Xmithie secures it before Grig can get anywhere nearby. Immortals now might have to take their fight. Gate trying to force the fight, but he's not able to make it to the back line. Equalizer comes down. Olleh gonna be taken out first as Grig goes down second. 1 for 1 so far. Looper into the back line. Popping the zone. Staying alive. Trying to get back if at all possible. Immortals may lose even more here. Gate trying to jump in. Damonte over the wall with the flash. The spear comes in but does not find a bear trap on a rope. Gonna be pulling him back and shut down by Flame. Damonte gone means the rest of Immortals may be able to pursue this even further. But Looper turns on the Jets and takes one down with him. Pobelter grabbing that kill though. Gate still trying to escape this. Cody Sun coming around from the side. Wants to cut him off. Gate able to dash to safety.
So, you know how
escaping with Keith.
We get to rag on Cloud Drake a lot? It's going to help them here. They're about to catch up. Cody Sun,
Cody's
almost
real
there.
Fast though. Throws out the poison, slows them both down.
Now he doesn't have to CC.
Come out. All right, that's a rampage.
There's the reset.
They make it 2 though. Slow comes out. Keith's gonna take a couple of hops and skips and jumps. Is it enough? Cody still wants more. Oh, that's the slow. I don't think Keith's gonna be long for this road, or is he? I spoke too soon. Caster curse. Except it's good luck for Keith. Gets himself away.
Let's go the opposite direction with it. So it's a blessing.
Yeah.
It's the castle
SKT's gonna win Worlds this year, Zirene.
Yes.
Yes.
Like,
NA totally won't.
Anyway, just going back to this, that was a beautiful equalizer from Looper. It forces Xmithie off to the left. Pobelter has to go up and to the right. And then Looper, not the best angle there, but when he uses the Zhonyas, seriously, was doing a lot there to zone Cody Sun. And Damonte wanted to flash and get Cody Sun here, but he doesn't quite get him. And Cody Sun retreated into a different direction at the last second, but then gets the counter kill there as he gets killed by Flame. Right here, the harpoon to the face and the turn to papa.
Nicely done.
Yeah, Looper, like, I never know where to rate Looper because he's got his Looper plays and then he's got his blooper plays, and they happen back to back, right? It's just
same game.
Literally the same game, sometimes the same team fight.
Well, Grig eats himself another spear. We got harpoons and spears and all sorts of sharp, nasty objects flying back and forth between these 2 teams, but the only objects concerning Immortals right now are these remaining turrets on the side of Echo Fox.
Oh, man. And I talked about indexing on defense for Cody Sun even further. So he has a QSS now. He has the Hex Drinker. He's not going to get any more powerful than a Maw of Malmortis, and then also having the QSS into the Mercurial Scimitar. So no more crit than just that 30% that he has. He's making sure.
Makes it 60.
Oh, that's true. That's true. The 30 from the 2 items, making sure that he doesn't have a lot of AD behind this though. So that's kind of the concern until he gets later on in the build. But now he's at a point where you don't get any more components. You just full buy items. Right. So he's up 3 levels though. That's the really good news. But look at this.
Looper gets caught out. He will have Sonya's Hourglass. Equalizer coming down will buy some time and keep him safe. Turret's still alive as well. Grig juggled backwards. The side big jump almost sealing his fate. Meanwhile, topside, Flame taking down the first tier 3. The rest of Immortals will take down the second as Echo Fox has to fall back in retreat and try to defend 2 separate places at once. Looper not in any condition to make this 1v1 happen after expending his resources defending bottom. Flame will collect on that top lane inhibitor and gets himself away.
Yeah, really good matchup for him.
Whoa! Juggled back and forth there. Keith! Oh no! When he's the one to go down first, that's not a good sign for Echo Fox. Olleh will be the sacrificial lamb of the trade as Damonte gets himself thrown back but finds a double kill onto Xmithie. Flame coming in for the shutdown. 3 dead on Echo Fox. The bear trap on a rope, not able to yank Grig out of the fountain. As Immortals still has their AD carry, their mid laner, and their top lane, plus the 5,500 Baron power play. They're in a fantastic spot to put this game in an unrecoverable state if they can make it a 3-inhib game.
Yeah, looking for that 3rd inhib here. They have enough time. Just push the minion wave up. And look for that. And yeah, Immortals, like this game, we talked about at the beginning. Echo Fox, first turret. Echo Fox, Infernal Drake. Advantages across the board. But just didn't mount too much after him. Looper,
they may just find Looper here. He does get his equalizer back, but Sonya's is not enough to save him this time around. Keith won't be able to move in for revenge in time either. Pobelter had a very limited mana pool there, but it was still enough to do what he needed to get done. 36 minutes into the game, and Echo Fox has no inhibitor standing.
Yeah, and Cody Sun still does a lot of damage because of his levels. He's level 17, walks forward, gets charmed, gets knocked up, gets out of there, but he's already obliterated Keith with the help of Pobelter, and that was a 3v3 off on the side there. And then Xmithie walks up, and this is like, oh, glad he entered the fight, but he takes the ultimate so that Cody Sun doesn't have to, and Cody Sun gets to continue there. So Damonte still trying to pick up what he can. 8-2-3 on this Syndra, a much better performance than the one he had in the previous game, but the team is just kind of lagging behind in how they're picking up objectives across the map. And I would say they had some opportunities, but the second Infernal Drake is where this game really got away from Echo Fox.
And now Immortals have a 13,000 gold lead. Keith gets himself hooked up, nearly going to be brought down. Flame with the flank, the damage comes through, and Keith is donezo. Death Sentence not going to be finding its second mark as Grig runs away. Full retreat now from Echo Fox. Without their AD carry, they've got to find some way to make this 4v5 happen, or the game will end here. Flame on the front line, spears still flying out. Damonte out of mana, must retreat into the fountain to be able to participate in this fight. But Immortals are at the Nexus doors. Onto the turrets they go. A hook onto Gate, they just seal his fate. He's out of there before the CC ends. Xmithie grabbing the kill as Nexus turret number 1 falls. Nexus turret number 2 now has to stand against the remaining entirety of Immortals. The stun comes through, the equalizer goes down, some health bars disappearing, but it's actually Fox who goes down first, and IMT will claim a 2-0.
And Cody Sun with a great flank there at the end to close it out, but really, macro superiority, there's a reason that Immortals have been number 1 or 2 in the standings all split long, and it's because their macro game, their shot calling, their decision making in the mid to late game is just that much better than the teams below them.
And we came into this series saying, Echo Fox wants to prove they're a team that can make it into playoffs. Immortals wants to prove that they're a team that's still top of the table, and Immortals did. Week number 5, yeah, it didn't really go too well for them. They went 0-2, it was a bit of a shocker for everybody. Now, they're coming into week number 6. They have a very dominant performance against Echo Fox, take them down in a relatively swift 2-0. This is still a team that you've got to keep your eyes on.
Exactly, still a team you have to keep your eyes on, but I feel like the conversation definitely shifted, like we said at the start, where Immortals, it was talk of, man, they took down all these top teams. They're 7-1. Are they the best team in North America? And then they went 0-2 against Phoenix 1 with Mike Young and TSM, who went to Rift Rivals, won Rift Rivals for North America and dropped only a single game. So the conversation has become much more clouded than just Immortals are #1, because they aren't even that in the standings right now.
Right.
Who is the #1 team in North America? They're in that conversation, but it's not as definitive as it was 2 weeks ago.
Right. They lost that #1 clinch that they used to have, but they are still there in terms of who's going to be the top teams in playoffs. Who are you going to see in, most likely in semifinals, right? This is a team that looks like they are solidly a top team in North America. Are they the top team? We don't know. Are they a top team? Highly likely.
Yeah, I would say, without a doubt, they definitely show macro prowess that is higher than other teams in the standings. And so they definitely have earned that second place spot for themselves currently, but there are a lot of teams that are trailing them right now. Echo Fox, on the other hand, though, it's kind of that confusion of it wasn't really broken, so they're trying to fix these things. I'm wondering what the explanation is for the changes that they've made here. Like, granted, Damonte had a much better game too, but they're still having some of those old issues. They had a great early game lead. It's just the game knowledge, the closing it out, and knowing how to progress a game to the finish is what's kind of eluding them. Because I loved their warding on the bottom side of round blue buff when Infernal was up the first time. Great. Got bottom turret, got Infernal. That was great. They went to the top side of the map, warded that all up, got a turret advantage. Then the next Infernal Drake, they danced around too long. Their back timers were all over the place. One was early, one was way too late. Then they didn't have backs at all. Tried to fight it. The fight didn't go their way. They lost the Drake. There's just so much that cascaded, and then it just seemed like nothing much more happened after that for Echo Fox in terms of the team fights.
It always happens when that clock ticks 15. It's like the ball is over. You've got to get home.
Yeah, and then they keep putting themselves in situations where the longer the game goes, more opportunities you give for a Taliyah to throw a wall, get a flash, throw a wall again, get kills. And that's what Pobelter did, was be incredibly proactive with his Taliyah walls.
Well, to hear a little bit more about the series, let's send things over to Pastry, who's standing by for an interview with the victorious mid laner.
Thank you very much. I'm here with Pobelter from Immortals. Pobelter, congratulations, of course, on the series victory. But I have to ask you, Echo Fox, I think a tough opponent in many ways, because it seems pretty hard to prepare for them and pretty hard to practice against them. Kind of what it's like preparing for a team with so many players that they're clearly willing to move in and out.
Well, we didn't have anything based off of scrim records or anything like that, so we just tried our best to look at their solo queue accounts and see what they were playing in solo queue and make a game plan off of that. And I think it worked out pretty well, so we're happy about it.
Well, of course, picking up a victory here to start this week, but your last week in week 5 was not so kind to you, unfortunately. The only O2 week from Immortals this split, I believe. So what did you guys do in the Rift Rivals week, kind of that break week to reset, and what was the preparation like to make sure you guys were fully ready for this week?
We just practiced really hard. Like, we took a couple days off because we had the luxury to, because we didn't go to Rift Rivals. But besides that, we just realized a lot of our flaws from losing pretty much. And so we just picked at them and worked on it. Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of the same. It's like, even when you win, there's a lot of problems that are apparent a lot of the time. But when you lose, they're a lot more apparent because obviously you lost a game because of your flaws. So yeah, I mean, it was just the same old.
All right, my final question for you. Your last opponent for this week will be Cloud9. Of course, that means you're back up against Jensen. Immortals was victorious last time in the series, but Jensen's been playing like a man possessed. What do you think of your matchup there in the mid lane?
Yeah, Jensen has been really on fire this split, and it's like kind of a combo of him just individually being really good, and also C9's kind of game plan is let's get mid ahead, and they kind of don't seem to do much else besides that. Like, it kind of feels like, wow, if Contracts was here, it would be really bad, then he's going to be there. So I think all I have to do is kind of try and hold my own against all the massive pressure they put around mid, and then we can win.
Well, thank you very much for your time, and congratulations on the victory today, but we are going to throw it back to the analyst desk to wrap up the day.
Thank you very much, Pastry, and great cast on the day to everyone. Let's get into this matchup as Immortals take a victory after what was kind of a tough week for them. We hear Pobelter talking about how, yeah, we were winning, so it's easy to identify the flaws. It seems like they have identified a few of those and were able to come out strong today.
Yeah, and I mean, there's still a team that's right near the top of the standings. You expect them to win against a team like Echo Fox. Zirene talking about, are these guys in conversation for the top spot in North America? And Zirene seemed to think they were. So you need to expect to win against all the teams except the ones maybe at the very top if you're even in that conversation.
And it's interesting to see what Echo Fox actually tried to do today with switching out more than one player. We haven't really seen this within a series for multiple players to be swapped out, and they're trying different things.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. if I've really seen that before at all. Like, I mean, this is 3 different positions that were swapped back and forth in this series. Obviously, did not work out as far as the series goes. When you look at the problems, I think they were very similar to what was happening in Game 1 as far as, yes, they can get kills, but can they actually, get control of the map? Can they actually play the vision game as well as their opponents? Can they control the objectives as well as their opponents? And the answers seem to be no. In general, it seems to be Echo Fox's problem all year long. When they're losing, it's because they don't have a good mid game, because they're not controlling the mini waves. They're not able to actually control objectives because of that. So everything kind of hinges around that. They have their early game, but for whatever reason, they just can't seem to polish up the mid and the late game stages. And
Immortals was able to find that, especially now with Xmithie. We'll go in 26 minutes here. Immortals 3 for 1 in the red side jungle, right where that man lives. And we'll see how this one starts off.
Yeah, and I mean, Immortals, I think, throughout the game had some very, very strong team fights. I think, utilizing the flanks from Kled, the Taliyah wall to cut people off. Cody Sun was having a very good game for himself on the Twitch. They have like a lot of AoE team fight damage, and they're able to kind of chase people down and take them out in some of these team fights. So, they're able to win this fight, they're able to get a couple fights around there and secure those. And these are the kind of fights that turn into more. And it's not just like, oh, you got to kill, great. It's, oh, you got to kill and you get full map control. Oh, you got to kill and you grab the Baron. And that's kind of why Immortals was able to take hold of the game.
Also, some of those were pretty touch and go. You got a lot of low HP, but then a lot of Immortals members living on the end of those plays. We'll go to the 33-minute Baron play where even more people, more low health plays, but again, Immortals coming out big. And we'll have that for you actually in just a moment. But that play coming in, sealing a deal for Immortals even more. The map play we saw continuously being stronger. The Kled coming in, they were able to play it. Here it is on your screen right now.
Yeah, and a really nice Taliyah wall, actually setting up that Weaver's wall to zone out the Echo Fox team that's coming in. This gives them time to actually secure the Baron. And then instead of trying to run, they actually do turn for the fight. They have already secured the objective, and they do end up coming up in a 4-for-3. So it still goes their way, although they are losing some of those Baron buffs. So I think that it's pretty nice fighting from the Immortal squad, especially in the back half of the fight, kind of fighting it out. And even this, Damonte trying to go for the big play, but the amount of damage from a dismounted Kled here, like he kills Syndra so fast. So even though he does actually straight over a kill, Damonte is the most fed member on that team, and you have to get a lot out of the Syndra for his death to really be worthwhile.
Gotta watch out for that pocket pistol, maybe a little pocket sand there to throw you off. Either way, Pobelter picking up player of the game on that one, coming through very strong, weaving some sick walls, pushing the mid game forward, and really helping the team to come out strong on that one. His LeBlanc was crazy as well. You give the guy an assassin he's been playing for so many years, you're going to get a good play out of it.
Yeah, he's been playing very well, and I think his positioning and utilization of the Weaver's wall, I think, was very impressive throughout the game, helping them control objectives, helping them secure the Baron in that case. So definitely a good game from Pobelter.
And with these switches we did see coming in from Echo Fox, we kind of touched on Damonte first game. The Cassiopeia didn't work out as well, but definitely showing a lot brighter of a game in Game 2 on this.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, in Game 1, we saw he could go even, at least as far as the farm got concerned. But he did fall behind LeBlanc. He got put in a bad situation, and he had a tough game after that. But, I mean, a very nice roam to the top side early on, gets him his first kill, flashing over the Nidalee Spear, taking out there. He was able to play well in lane, play pretty well mechanically, and actually was a very big reason that his team was even still in the game on this very, very fed Syndra. So I think he can be happy at least with the individual performance as far as, like mechanical play and his laning phase and stuff is concerned. Where they really do need to still work is the macro play.
Absolutely. I think the team as well can rely on him a little bit in saying this guy can still find confidence after having a pretty tough game, and that's always great to see in a player. So now let's pull up the standings to see how teams are stacking up. Chronologic Gaming maintained their hold of first place at 9-2, while Immortals tried to catch back up from second. While Echo Fox now end their day in 7th, just above Phoenix 1 in 8th, and FlyQuest in 9th. We'll be back again tomorrow for more LCS action. Coverage will kick off on NA LCS 1 with a battle between the two best teams coming out of Rift rivals. That's TSM and Phoenix 1, followed by Cloud9 taking to the Rift. Taking to the arena, I should say, opposite of Team Envy. On NA LCS 2, we have Chronologic Gaming. They'll load into battle versus Team Dignitas, and then Team Liquid hope to defeat FlyQuest later on in the day. Lots of action. The place to see it is right here.
Yeah, definitely some exciting matches. I mean, P1 and TSM, I think everyone was pretty hyped for, because that was the two best performing teams at Rift Rivals from either region. Dignitas versus CLG, pretty interesting, because Dignitas has been having a rough go of it. We'll see if they can bounce back.
Yeah, they have. Things are going to be tough. Like we said, we're in the back half here. We heard the guys talking about it. This isn't the time we have chance to work on things, this is the time when those things you were working on need to come into play. Now, for myself, the casters, and the entire live broadcast crew, thanks for watching. And remember, NA, greater than EU.